Hello there. This is another recording of Stop Being a Broke Loser by Christopher Bell. We are going to read chapter 1. What does I read chapter 1? Change your mindset. Changing your mindset is the first step of getting out of a financial mess you're in. The difference between a successful person and a broke loser is how they view money, not how much they make. Your salary is irrelevant. The size of your house or car is irrelevant. Your stupid boat and your RV is irrelevant. Your balance sheet and your personal net worth are the only things that differentiate you between a success and a failure in the realm of personal finance. The broke loser asks, "How much do you make?" The rich winner asks, "What is your net worth?" Leave your communist, capital-hating propaganda at the door. Money is not the root of all evil. Money is a tool that will make you happy, secure, and at peace with the world. Being frugal does not mean that you are cheap. Money is freedom. Money can buy happiness. You must see money as something to save and use to build an empire, not something to consume. Your bi-weekly paycheck is not something to be spent as fast as possible on short-term pleasures and frivolous nonsense. Your paycheck is an opportunity to buy things that generate a higher paycheck for you and your family in the future. What can you buy with that guarantees more money for your family over the long term? You can buy bonds, which pay you interest payments. You can buy stocks, which generate you cash flow through dividends. You can buy real estate and rent it out, hopefully generating positive cash flow through real rental income. You can buy a professional resume writer to spruce up your competitiveness for a job interview you need to nail to increase your income. Every day you choose to either spend your money to buy things to make you more money or buy things for short-term pleasure. Imagine you had the choice to purchase one of two machines. One machine costs you $100, and when you bring it home and plug it in, it starts splitting out a fresh $1 bill every month. Machine 1 also appreciates in value. If you choose to sell it a year down the road, you can sell it for $112. Machine 2 costs you $100, but instead of spitting out $1 bill every month, it requires you to put in a $1 bill every month to keep it running. Machine 2 goes down in value every year, and year after year, only worth $80 in resale value. What machine would you rather buy? Everyone, of course, would buy Machine 1. It pays you every month, and it goes up in value. Machine 2 does the exact opposite. Machine 1, in personal finance speak, is an asset because it generates a positive cash flow. Machine 2 is a liability because it generates negative cash flow. Machine 1 pays you. Machine 2 costs you. You must spend your money on something that pays you, and not something that the average American does. They do the exact opposite, spending all of their income on as many Machine 2s as they possibly can afford. Why? Because the TV told them to. If you never use a part of your paycheck to buy Machine 1s, you will never build wealth, and you will always be a broke loser, living paycheck to paycheck, never progressing your financial life, and dumping everything you have to make into growing, working workshop full of Machine 2s. You will get your bi-weekly paycheck only to watch it vanish into a massive and ever-growing collection of Machine 2s. Worst of all, the top consuming of your entire paycheck, dropping in value every single year. Ever increasing financial demands of your Machine 2s will push you into getting a promotion at work or work extra hours instead of learning your lesson, and will keep you buying more Machine 2s so you can jump more cash into them. After all, commercials, social conventions constantly remind you only if you had not to spend. Everything you make on Machine 2s, you are a loser, and so you keep doing what you're doing, spending your entire life grinding away at work. When you die, your legacy will be a workshop full of worthless Machine 2s. Pretty ridiculous, huh? Well, that's exactly what Americans do. Do not be average, boring, unimpressive, broke loser American. Instead, spend your entire paycheck on machine twos because the billboard told you to, and buy as many machine ones as you can. The more you buy, the more money they pay you every month, and the easier it gets to buy even more machine ones. Your neighbors may scoff at your lack of machine twos, but it is okay. Most of them cannot sleep at night because they are stressing about keeping their machine twos working. Before you know it, you will have so much cash flow every month from your army of machine ones that will pay you bills to support your bills and will support your lifestyle without you having to work. Once you are there, you can choose to retire if you want to, or to keep working if you like your job, whatever floats your boat. This is common sense, right? But if this is common sense, why doesn't everyone in America buy machine ones and get rich? Because corporate America propaganda and consumer culture pushes you only to buy machine twos. Your spending is corporate America's machines ones. What are machine ones, or assets, as I like to call them? I've already mentioned a few: stocks, bonds, and rental properties. Stock investors buy stocks because they expect corporate earnings to grow over time, increasing the value of the stock. Bond interest payments every 6 months or annually. Tenants in rental properties pay rent, which used to pay your mortgage and other expenses and pocket the difference. If you buy something and it pays you more than it cost you, you have an asset. Now, in accounting reading this, chill out. I am not using a accounting definition of an asset, which is something that provides future economic value that can be massively and expressed in dollars. A Rolls-Royce, from an accounting point of view, it is an asset because it is something that provides future economic value. From a personal financial perspective, a Rolls-Royce is a liability. Once you drive your new Rollie off the lot, it does not start shooting dollar bills out of the glove compartment. Nope. Quite the opposite. A Rollie will consume an ungodly amount of cash over its useful life. Every month you pay your car payment, which a part of which is interest. You will also pay your car insurance. You will also pay your car insurance premium. Fill up your gas tank. Pay for oil changes. Replace the tires. Pay for personal property taxes and more. On top of dumping thousands of dollars on a Rollie every year, it drops you precisely in the value of retail market. After 5 years, your Rollie might be only be worth $30,000, and you might have spent more than $60,000 or $70,000 to purchase and maintain it. All to look good and impress your equally broke and financially illiterate neighbors. A car fails in the machine two or a car falls into machine two or liability category. You buy it, you put money into it every month, and it drops in value. Smart investment, bro. You want to maximize the amount of money you directing towards assets and minimize the amount of money you are spending in liabilities. Yes, you need to spend money on a car. It is a necessary evil. Most people do not live within walking distance of their work, and that is fine. I am not asking you to go hippy-dippy and ride a bike 15 miles each way to and from work. I am suggesting that you buy the cheapest car you can get that is dependable. Buy a car that gets you from point A to B reliably and safely. You do not need to get a stupid Rolls-Royce for a 15-minute commute to impress the girls that are too young for you. That $500 to $600 car payment would have been spent on your new flashy cool car. Car instead of a fully funded your Roth 401k a year, in which you can buy assets, minimize essential liabilities, eliminate non-essential liabilities, and use the savings to purchase as many assets as you can. Your creed. That is your creed. Memorize it, internalize it, live it. Once you understand financial definitions of assets and liabilities, your next step is the dumb ideal that you are going to get rich quickly. Building wealth takes time, patience, and diligence. Get rich quick schemes are for lazy, broke losers. A get rich quicker, or GRQ thinkers, thinks they're going to find and invest in the next big thing before anyone else does. They believe success in life comes from gambling your money in dubious investments, that building real wealth requires no sacrifice and hard work. That is a complete load of BS. What inevitably happens to GRQs, they lose all of their money on a terrible ideal or product that nobody wants. These schemes almost involve a con artist of some kind who makes off with everyone else's money. Ever heard of Bernie Madoff? He was showing his clients amazing investment returns, well above market average, while he was fleecing them out of billions of dollars. You should never trust someone promising you low risk, high reward investments. Low risk, you want to take it on, and the lower potential returns will be, vice versa. The S&P 500 stock market index has returned on average 7% annually since 1926. If you see a shady Microsoft paint design advertisement while you are browsing 4chan offering you a 15 or 20% monthly risk-free returns on an investment you've never heard of, you're looking at a complete scam. You're looking at an advertisement designed to fleece dopes and lazy people who think they can build true wealth with no effort. Do not be one of these people. You are not going to get rich quickly. You are going to internalize this, or you will expect to fix your finances quickly. Find out that it is not working and quit. There is no magic button or investment to get you financial security at a drop of a dime. If you're in massive debt, you're going to skump and slave for years and work an extra job or two to pay it off. If you spend all your money on nonsense and liabilities, you are going to experience the pain of reducing your standard of living to free up cash flow for asset purchases. If you have no retirement savings, you are going to contribute to a 401k and IRAs for years before you start seeing large balances. Wealth is not attained by a flick of a switch. To think otherwise, you are a very unintelligent or lazy person, or both. But do not worry. I know this sounds miserable, right? No one's going to force you to act and improve your financial life. The rewards of sacrificing your lifestyle or working hours, this for a few years to obtain financial security, are incalculable, but they do require a bit of pain and hard work. You can endure the pain for a few years, and you can conclude, I am a clueless idiot, and toss this book in the trash. That is on you. At the end of the day, nobody cares about you except for your parents, maybe. Changing your life starts with you. Nobody can motivate you to do except for you. I give you the tools, but you will have to choose to pick them and use them. Let us clear something else up. If you believe money is the root of all evil, that wealthy people are Scrooges and business owners get ahead by screwing people over, you are brought into a far leftist propaganda that will sabotage your chances of achieving any success. Accumulating wealth through hard work, prudence, and diligent investing is not evil. Saving a portion of your paycheck every month to buy assets will make you wealthy if you stick to it. Having a fully funded emergency savings account, investing in tax-advantaged accounts for retirement, and saving your children's college education in a college 529 plan will result in you building wealth, and it does not make you evil. Anybody who whines about wealth or income inequality but does not fix their condition is the epitome of a broke loser. Broke losers will try to shame you for saving money and cutting back your lifestyle. If you are not spending your entire paycheck on frivolities, you are obviously a complete Scrooge. What these clowns cannot seem to grasp is there's a difference between being a cheap Scrooge and being frugal. Frugality is being wise with your money by purchasing items that give them value. Being cheap is depriving yourself or your family of necessarily simply because you do not want to buy it, even though you have the means to do so responsibly. Buying a slightly used but safe car to commute for work, frugal. Driving your infant child around a 500 car with 2 engine leaks and a flat tires because you do not want to spend a small portion of your substantial savings on a new car, cheap. If nothing I said has motivated you to take action to improve yourself, consider this. Imagine it is 2030, 10 years from now. You have $30,000 in a savings account, which you can cover any unexpected expense without using your credit card or raiding your 401k. You also have $50,000 invested in low-cost index mutual funds for your Roth IRA that grow tax-free in your retirement. You are contributing $10,000 a year into your 401k thanks to your company match, which is now sitting at a balance of $150,000. You have a low-cost insurance policy that would pay you $1,500,000 in case to your family if you are dead. To your family if you died prematurely. You have no debt except for your mortgage. Your children's college is almost fully funded because of your contribution, $100 a month in a tax advantage college 529 plans. Now imagine the peace of mind this would give you. Imagine the weight of financial stress coming off of your shoulders like a pipe dream. It is not. You must make some sacrifices in the short term to achieve the long-term success. Personal finance is so easy to understand, yet horribly neglected by the average American. That the average American could not get by without a coronavirus stimulus check is despicable. With some exceptions, most people have the ability to save up enough money over a few years of a booming economy to support themselves over several months of unemployment. The fact they did not is inexcusable. Personal finance thought leaders like Dave Ramsey and Susan Orwell are the airwaves for decades, pounding Americans over the head, telling them they have an emergency fund, giving them easy step-by-step instructions to get their personal lives in order. But most people do not care to listen to them because they do not have the time, they are living their lives, or because they are cheap asses budget. Then when the economy collapses, the US taxpayer gets screwed by ever increasing US government debt and money printing finance coronavirus stimulus checks. Savers and bond investors get screwed via inflation and rate cuts by the Fed to add liquidity to the economy. All of this screwing, all of this debt, all of this nonsense because the average American does not care about personal finances. It is just too hard to sit down for a few hours to go over your budget. It is just too hard to watch a 10-minute YouTube video to understand how index funds work. It is too much effort to click a few buttons to open up a Roth IRA account, even though you spend several hours a day watching stupid cat videos. Well, if I had it with financial ignorance, I am going to break down 3 financial pillars of personal finance, Barley style, or even the lazy American to get back on board and take some responsibility for their own personal lives. Write this down. The 3 pillars of personal finance are cash management, investing, and risk mitigation. And that was chapter 1 of, what's chapter 1 called again? Changing Your Mindset. So that was chapter 1 of Changing Your Mindset. I would say that this book, that chapter was more political than I thought it would be. But ultimately, I do agree with it. I think that people's mindsets are so broke. And you hear it a lot on the media. They're like, oh, we need to tax all these corporations. But the corporations are the things that are providing our services to us. Oh, and you want your 401ks to go up, but you want to tax corporations? Like, what do you expect? Do you want value, more value for society, or do you want less? Like, I see all these baby boomers, and I see all these other people who advocate for higher taxes on wealthy people, and they want to bail out losers, but the losers clearly are making the wrong decisions in the first place. You need to get rid of the loser behavior before you even start financing that behavior. You know what I mean? So, in that sense, I did think it was kind of political. But other than that, like, despite that weird political tangent he had going on, and while most people would probably disagree with it, and I certainly don't disagree with it entirely, um, that's probably the one thing people are going to hate about this book is it's going to be a little too political for a lot of people. What I like about it though is it's less political than Bachelor Bad Economics, which Bachelor Bad Economics, I've listened to the whole book, is very, very political. So that's the reason I like Stop Being a Broke Loser. It's not as political. It's just giving you a step-by-step guide without all the insults that that other guy puts in his book. So I like that he doesn't insult people that much compared to the other guy. The other guy just insults the other groups of people all the time. And obviously Bachelor Bad Economics and Stop Being a Broke Loser are fantastic books, regardless of which one you want to pick up. I would recommend this book first because this book is more modern. But if you're gonna buy a book, buy Stop Being a Broke Loser. If you want a bigger book, like a massive book that goes over anything a bachelor would ever need, buy Bachelor Bad Economics. He does go over family planning as well, in case you did start a family. So I guess the book title's a little misleading, but I love both of their books. They're just insulting and they're a little political. And I wish they weren't as political. They would just give you step-by-step the guide, but I think that's the entertainment value for them. I think they're not just personal finance books like advice, but I think they have a belief system that's tied to the reasons they believe the things they do. And John Bogle isn't that way. When you read John Bogle, he's very boring. And I wanted a book that was going to spark an interest. And I feel like politics, for whatever reason, or just insulting people like this book does, for whatever reason, seems to get people interested in a topic. And so that's why I like this book, is, when you insult someone, which is what most cults do, most cults or even some religions do it, you get a lot of believers. If you tell someone that you can improve your life, but you are also at fault, that you're not in servitude all the time, that you can change your servitude or you can fix things, I think that's a mindset that I think you should adapt. If you're not living in a fascist economy, you can change your circumstances a lot. Even if you are living in a fascist economy, I think you can probably improve your circumstances. I mean, you could move if you wanted to, if there was opener borders. That is, if it's like North Korea, yeah, you're not getting out. But if it's like China, where they have some emigration, I should say, where people emigrate away from China, then yes, I would prefer you would not live in a fascist state like China. But that being said, a fascist economic state, not. But whatever, obviously they're becoming more and more capitalist. They're moving more capitalist. We're moving more socialists, or more welfare, I should say. So like there's a spectrum of this is right and this is left, and the U.S. is moving this way and China's moving this way. So we're getting closer and closer, and so the line's being blurred. And it is already blurry. I mean, there was already state intervention in the 1930s. So I would argue we actually became a socialist economy in the 1930s, but the opposite happened in the 1930s compared to 1830s. Government failed. 1930s people said, "Oh, businesses fail." Although in Milton Friedman's essay, you hear that the government failed. The crackdown, government regulation actually caused the 1929 crash, Wall Street crash. Which, I mean, Milton Friedman might be right. He's a very good economist. He's been studying this for many years, or he did study for many years. And he says people accidentally faulted businesses when it should have been the government that they faulted. I don't know which I agree with more, whether it was government or businesses that started the 1929 crash, but it's pretty interesting to hear different perspectives on that, as well as all this other stuff. I love economics. I wish people would study it more, but they're not willing to learn it. But it's very interesting to me to read both sides of an argument and to make some conclusions. This is what I'm doing. I'm reading this book. I'm making conclusion essays or conclusion thoughts, saying to you in these videos, and I hope that you've learned something. Anyway, this is Stop Being a Broke Loser by Christopher Brown. Fantastic book. Remember that you are someone and I'm someone else, and I just finished chapter 1.